Hi, I'm Dr. Jim Siebert. It's time for the Tropical Forecast here on YouTube.com, Fox 26 Houston. I tell you what, this is as quiet of an October that I have seen in years. So as active as everything was, everything is just shut down as far as any development. So let's take a look at what we're talking about. Okay, there's nothing organized in the Atlantic, anywhere in the Atlantic Sea Basin. Now, we've got some tropical waves that are coming off of Africa, but none of them have the ability to organize into a low and let alone pull in more strength from the lows around them. So we got a wave here. This was very tropical wave. It's large, but there just isn't anything going on. The upper level winds are still very strong, kind of pushing things rather quickly. We got a little bit more activity out here getting closer to the Windward Islands, but even that doesn't have a chance because upper level winds are still pushing things around. As we come closer to the United States, we got a low, we've got another front. You can just see the outline of the front with the clouds. And then also look down here at the bottom. Do you see, watch this. See how those clouds are just rushing in to that line? And then if you look over here, we still have the same sort of thing, everything rushing into that low. So upper level winds are becoming very strong. That's normal this time of year. As we move into winter, the winds move faster. And believe it or not, the fast moving winds are actually going to have a bigger influence on the long range of the forecast here. I'll show you that in just a second, but I want you to see how this is all going to be playing together. Now, as we come on in a little closer to the Gulf of Mexico, this time of year, we tend to get a strong wind coming from the southwest. So it's coming from the Pacific, crosses over the Gulf, and then heads on out into the Atlantic. And then it gets picked up into those upper level winds and pulled into that giant low. So as you notice, here in the Caribbean, we got a pretty impressive looking cloud cover, some convection, that sort of thing. But if you look carefully, we've got winds blowing the tops of the clouds off this way. In this way, it's blowing off that way. Not like it's because it's going in a circular motion, it's because it's just getting blown in different parts. And so those upper level winds are just shearing this thing off, and that's why that has no chance of organizing either. Even if it did, if it tried to come to the Gulf of Mexico, these strong upper level winds, again, these are very high up in elevation, they would just shear, cut this off, just like a haircut, just all the way down so there wouldn't be really anything left. Okay, that's what's going on. And as we look at the water vapor imagery, so we're looking at the amount of moisture that's in the atmosphere, but we're really looking at what the winds are doing because it just shows it so clearly. The areas of orange are dry air. The areas of white are humidity, or in this case, cloud cover also. And then the very darker blue there is it's really the temperature that we're looking at, but it's very high, very cold, and then the moisture's there. So let's see, here's that low I was showing you just a minute ago. Okay, we have another low back here in the western U.S. And so the upper level winds wrapping down, coming down from the Rocky Mountains into the plains, and then moving through. Then the southern jet down here is just a straight shot. So it's not being influenced by the waves of the highs and the lows as much. It's just a straight shot into this at this point, which is also one of the reasons why upper level winds are very strong certainly across the Gulf of Mexico, because there's really nothing slowing it down. You know, across the United States, you got the Rocky Mountains, you got all that kind of stuff in the way, and then you also have cold air really coming down out of Canada. All of that combined just means that the winds are moving quickly. And it's not by coincidence that we've passed the peak of hurricane season, and once we get to the middle of October, it takes a nosedive down. Now, for a number of reasons. One, of course, the water temperatures are getting colder. I just went kayak fishing in the Gulf of Mexico over the weekend. It was cold, you know, and it was just a month ago I'd get out there and I didn't feel the water at all. So the water temperatures cool down pretty quickly, and the upper level winds, as I was talking about, get stronger. Now, you may have heard that we're expecting a La Nina. It's developing even as we speak. And what that happens is the trade winds, which are really strong down here to the south, so it's going across northern parts of South America, Central America, and even a little bit of the Gulf. So the normal trade winds, which go from east to west, I should say, push warm surface waters towards Asia. Now, that's the normal conditions. But when we have really strong winds, it blows that water way out here, and the water gets cooler in this part of the Pacific. That's called La Nina, and that has a dramatic impact on us. Now, typically in a La Nina year, It means less strong winds for us here across the Gulf of Mexico during hurricane season, but we're getting past hurricane season now. And in this case, it has formed too late, so there's nothing really is going to happen as far as the hurricanes. But as far as the rest of the upcoming season going into winter, it means a wetter, cooler Pacific Northwest, cooler north. Now think about this, okay? A colder north up in Canada means super cold to the rest of us, okay? Because it's already cold, colder than normal. And then down here around Texas, Louisiana, Florida, we're on the downhill of all of this, and it means warmer and drier conditions for us as we head on into winter. Now, that doesn't mean we won't have cold spells, but when you average it all together, it's going to be a colder than normal year for the northern tier of the United States, wetter than normal in the Pacific Northwest, wetter than normal in the Midwest, and some of that will spill over into the Northeast. The rest of the country is more normal, and then we're going to be warmer than normal. So even tropical season, even though I'm talking about tropical season right now, it does have an influence on what's going to happen with the upcoming season. In this case, it looks like a warmer than normal year for Southeast Texas. We'll see you next time.